Hello viewers, my name is Sahil Monga. I hope you all are doing fine. Whenever we implement Dynamics 365, the last phase of implementation is data migration, and it becomes very challenging when there are a lot of attachments to be migrated against the CRM entities, be it contact, account, opportunity, email, etc. So in this video, I'll show you how to upload the files from your local system to the SharePoint Online against the Dynamics 365 contacts. So we know Dynamics 365 and SharePoint, they are tightly integrated and the integration comes out of the box. So this is my Dynamics instance. If I'll navigate to contacts, open one of the contact. If you hit this files tab, so here you will see all the files, all the attachments related to this particular contact. If I upload or create a new file, it would automatically go into the SharePoint site, the integrated SharePoint site. So let me create one file, for example, a Word file. So I can close it. So this is the test Word document. And if I go to the Dynamics 365 SharePoint, so here is that. So I have two sites in the SharePoint. This is the one, the top one, Dynamics 365 sales, which is integrated with my Dynamics. If I'll hit this site contents, so these are the different folders for the different entities. For all the attachments related to contact entity would go under this folder contact, and each and every contact is having their own folder labeled as their full name underscore the record ID. The record ID is the GUID, the contact ID for that particular contact. And we just uploaded or we have created one file, the test file underneath this particular contact. If I'll open it, so yep, we see this file is automatically here and we can access the file from Dynamics 365 contacts as well. So let's create a flow to connect to our on-premise system, our local system, get the file information from there and upload it against the Dynamics contact. So this is the first part of tutorial. Here we are just covering a simple scenario wherein you connect to a particular folder in your system. So you upload all the files from that particular folder to the SharePoint Online, and the same files are accessible from Dynamics 365 contacts. And before you create this flow, you must ensure that you have the on-premise data gateway installed in your system. If you don't have it installed, I'm going to share the link for installation in the description box so you can get it from there. But that is the prerequisite. You need to have that in order to connect to your local system. So my first step is going to be list all the files from that specific folder. So for that, I'm going to use the file system action. So this is my action, list all files in that particular folder. And that's where we are going to need the on-premise data gateway. So here it says select a folder, but I'm going to create a new connection so that we can see how to create a connection with the local system. So name it SharePoint files, E drive. You can name it anything. And here I have, so these are the files which we will be uploading. So this is the local system path. Here enter the username, so it should be in the format domain slash the username. If you're not on a domain, so you can enter the work group name and then your account. So in my case, it is going to be this one. Enter the password. And I already have this data gateway installed, so I'll select that one. So it is creating the connection, it is validating that. Okay. So this is my folder path where I have all the files. And the next step is, once we have all the files listed, so for each and every file, which means we have to apply to each control. For each and every file, I'll get the file content. This is my attachment, the main attachment actually. Again, I'll search for file system, get file content. Okay. But before that, we should have an apply to each step actually, because there can be multiple files in a particular folder, so we want to traverse each and every file. So let's use this step, apply to each, select the body, and we don't need this step, so we can delete it. And this step should be under apply to each step, file system, get file content. So from the first step, which is list files and folders, so we can get the path from there for each and every file, and we should put that path here in the files, in the file column. So we have all the files, and for each and every file we need to now search for the contacts against which this will be uploaded to the SharePoint Online. So the next step is common data service, list records. I'm going to upload the same files against multiple contacts, so I'm using list records. So connect to your environment. The entity in my case is contacts, and the query is contains email address 1, the keyword Sahil, because I know there are only 2 contacts with this filter query, so the files will be uploaded against these 2 contacts. Okay. So the next step should be so now we have all the contacts, and for each and every contact we should be uploading the files in SharePoint. Again, apply to each step, we need it, and select an output. It should be the value from the previous step, and now we need to create a SharePoint file, right? For that, search for SharePoint, and this step would be create a file. Okay. So this is our SharePoint site that we took a look at the start. The folder path. So the folder path is very important here. So if the files will not go in at the right place, you will not be able to see those files in Dynamics 365. So let's take a look once here. So we see, so the files which are going in SharePoint are going under the path contact. So this is our root folder, and then the folder name is the full name of contact underscore the record ID, which is the GUID of that particular contact. The one thing to notice here is that the GUID is not having hyphens here. So when we get the GUID, we have hyphens here. So we must transform our GUID in this particular format. Okay. So folder path is gonna be, so we'll have to use the expression, concatenate expression, which is the first is contact, the second parameter would be the full name of contact, and we should be able to get it from here, get file content. Okay. So I'm not seeing this apply to each, should be there. Let me also rename it. Upload SharePoint file for contacts. There you go. So concatenate. Let's check if So I think let me make this outside. Concat. So the first is contact. The second parameter is items. From the previous step, the name of this step is upload SharePoint file for contacts. Okay. And here we will have the current contact value, and so we need the full name parameter. So that's it. And the third parameter should be the underscore. The fourth should be the contact ID. So let's copy this. That's it. But here in this case, the contact ID that we will be getting is having the hyphens in it. So we have to replace those hyphens with a blank space. So I'll use the replace function here. Replace the hyphens with a blank. So this should be our expression. Let's try to use it here. So I have copy pasted it, and let's hover and check if it is correct. So it seems to be. And then let's give the file name. So file name will be from the step list of files in that specific folder. Let's search it here. Here we have it. And file content is actually from the file content step, get file content here. Okay. So I think that's it. This should be uploading the files to SharePoint Online, and we should be able to check it. Let's save it, and let's also rename the flow. Upload local system files to SharePoint. Okay. Let's run it now. Hit continue, run flow. So it is running, and meanwhile let's take a look at this folder. So it is having 4 different files. One is PDF, other one is Excel, and then there is Outlook email, and the last one is the Word file. So we should see these 4 files for the contacts. As I mentioned, there should be 2 contacts with the keyword Sahil in their email ID. So we should be seeing these folder files. Okay, let's see. Okay, so 3 files are uploading, so which means it is in process. So we should see the 4th one soon as well. And there is this particular contact as well. Okay, so it has all the files, and let's take a look at this one. This is still having 3 files. Okay, the flow has run, and if I go to the contact now, search for this particular contact, so it has all the 4 files. And let's take a look at the second contact as well. It also has all the files, and if I want to open any of the files, I can click here and it should open the file. Okay, and if I click here, This is an email file, so yeah, it has been downloaded. So this is how we can upload the local files to SharePoint Online and access it from the Dynamics 365. This is the first part of the video, and in the next part of this tutorial I'll show you, because this is not going to be the case always, right? So there would be some legacy systems from where we would have to get the contact information and the file information. So file information, files might be at a different location. And then so we'll, in the next video we'll see how to connect to a local SQL server. So I consider it as a legacy system that will have the contact information and also the files related to those contacts. And then we will copy those files from the local system, search the Dynamics contacts, and then upload those files in SharePoint so that we can see those files in Dynamics 365 and access those. So stay tuned for that, and thank you.